on the edge of a discovery. I can feel it. Oh, hello. As you might already know, I am the great, the wonderful, the all-powerful, the amazing Archemedes. But what you might not know about me was that I was born in Syracuse, Sicily, which is in Italy now, in 287 BC. I was an extremely famous alchemist, scientist, and riddler, and extremely famous also mathematician, engineer, and astronomer. I know you must be thinking, how can I juggle all these jobs? I'm only one person. But I was kind of fond of taking life one step at a time, you know. So I often spent years at a time studying just one subject until I'd unlock all the secrets of that subject, and then I'd move on to another one. I was really good at science, but I was also one of the greatest mathematicians of all time, too. So I was often known to blur the line between math and science. I, per se, used math to define science further. In my prime, I was obsessed with discovering the area of a circle and the volume of a sphere. And I say obsessed, I mean obsessed. I would not rest until I found out how things worked and what happened in the world. Oh, for example, that time when a king in Europe somewhere, he had a gold crown, a wreath like this one, but he wanted the volume of it measured, but he didn't want it melted down and put into cube form so I could measure the volume like I would. But so I struggled over how to find the volume of an irregular shape like a wreath. But the inspiration came to me in the oddest of places. I was sitting in the bathtub, and I saw how the water rise when I sat in. And I was just like, wow, a discovery. When you sit in the water will displace an amount of water exactly the same to the volume of the object that's being in the water. And I ran onto the streets, naked, yelling, "Eureka! Eureka! I found it! Eureka!" Yeah, funny story. But later in my life, I approximated pi and created exponentation for larger numbers. I was one of the first to apply mathematics to real-life situations. Got close. I can feel it. But I also explained the principle for a lever and created tons of cool machines, like a screw pump, which is used to take water from lower areas and move into higher places, which is extremely useful in my era. And I also invented compound pulleys, which are still used today plenty of times. Yes, I was quite a genius. Oh, but who can forget my tons of war machines that I made, like movable cannon stations, giant catapults, and even giant ship pulleys that could lower huge ships down into the water with barely any manpower. But all my war machines and all my inventions were not enough to protect my hometown of Syracuse when Rome invaded. Right here. They killed me and invaded my home and took all my spheres, which I was obsessed with. So that upset me. But even when specific orders were from the King Caesar were not to harm me, since I was such a genius, of course. But even in the end, when I was killed, my contributions to the world of science and math will never be forgotten, I hope. Oh, but since I was a riddler, I'll leave you with one. There's a ship in the water, and there's a huge stone in the boat. If I throw the stone into the water, will the water rise or fall? Hope you have your